One. Look at who it is. We are live around the world, and this is Jock Talk. I'm Banana Joe.
No, I told you I would never appear with Banana Joe again. No,
especially on camera.
Are we on?
Yeah, baby. We're live.
I'll have to get back to you. I'm sorry, I was talking to my attorney.
Oh, your attorney getting all set,
I'm kidding. I was talking to you on the other line.
Boy, you put this guy on camera. He's already got an agent. He's already got an agent.
I can't believe we actually made it on the air.
We made it. We are here. We're live.
Yay!
We're live. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're all over the place. We're live right now.
Yeah.
Hi.
Two old live disc jockeys.
You know what?
Oddly enough, we're both still alive.
against most people's better judgment.
Well, oddly, there were odds, in Vegas. So they were betting,
especially on me. What am I supposed to be? 87.
According to a
source,
a well-known
a radio source.
Well, I don't want to say a well-known, but just a disc jockey that was here in L.A.
Ex-retired disc jockey.
I'm 83 years old.
And I'm 87.
God, I thought, how did I become 83?
But he's got it all wrong because I'm 10 years older than you, so that would make me 93.
I'm past him somehow in age. He became younger than I. He became younger than you.
That's a joke.
And suddenly, he's just the youngest guy, and probably the most important personality that ever.
That's okay. We're not going to reveal his name. That's okay.
Was in Los Angeles.
Anyway, we're
we
here.
Won't mention any names.
We're going to do radio talk. That's why we're here.
Yeah. Let's talk about some good old radio stories and stuff because we go back to the 70s and listening to radio in the 60s.
Sure.
And growing up with radio in the 70s and then being a part of it, and that what a fun time. I got to tell you, what was if you want to talk about something specific, I just wanted to ask, what was one of the coolest logos that you remember growing up and saying, wow, that is such a cool logo.
Logos.
For a radio station that just completely stood out.
There weren't a lot of, real intricate logos back then. They were all pretty much plain logos.
They don't even put any, they put no effort into it.
Nothing.
My daughter at 3 years old actually put together the logos that they're putting together now on radio stations. I mean, that's how simplistic they are. But I will say there were some really creative logos back in our time. So, I mean, there are some that stood out to me. I mean, any to you? Or did you just, they didn't make an impact on you?
I never, they all look the same to me. They all look like, just plain signs, But WARM in Scranton had an interesting logo because it said warm, and it was interesting because the name of the station was Warm. Superior sonic sound. And it had little speakers, not stereo, but like a little speaker on the logo. And that meant they had a new sound system, and we know it today as reverb. That was their superior sonic sound.
Don't you remember all the great stations that had that reverb? And boy, some overdid it. And I thought some really was just annoying.
WABC in New York sounded like they were coming at you from a cave.
Yes. it was just annoying. But then there were those great radio stations that had engineers just knew where to place it, and boy, did they sound good. They really just made the radio station just sound awesome, bigger than life. And I got to say, I was lucky enough to work at Kiss FM, where we had that reverb, that sweet spot reverb, that just sounded so damn good. And that was a pleasure. That was a pleasure, man.
Kiss FM, we had just a little touch of it. You can only hear it in your headphones, really.
Yeah. It was just a really little touch, and essentially we weren't using beds initially. The beds thing came, I think, in the 90s, and so when we would, come out of a record, we would just say 102.7 Kiss FM, and we would talk cold into the spot, and so you could hear it. That's when you can really notice it.
By the time the 90s rolled up, everything was over music, and that's what the beds are. People don't know what a bed is. They think we were like laying down in a
music bed. I'm sorry. Yeah.
A music bed.
Yeah.
It's not like we're doing our show from a damn Craftmatic or something. I'm a sleep number 4. I do my show on a sleep number 3. Thank you.
No, I was referring to a musical instrumental bed, a little song that we would play,
kind of like we did in the beginning of the show, like that. That's a bed. This is Jock Talk. Hey, everybody. How come some jocks sound like they're puking? We had a lot of pukers when we were coming up, remember?
So it sounded seamless. So you were going from your song,
right,
into the commercials. I don't know. I
never
really understood that.
Right. Then the music stopped anyway when the commercial started. The commercial starts, and it's like, "You're killing me, Larry," or whatever the commercial was.
or the old Claricel.
You got zits all over your face, zits. Like that disc jockey we were talking about earlier.
Oh, mercy.
Man.
I don't even want to get into that.
I'm telling you.
Those Claricel spots were probably some of the funniest and most memorable commercials. Boy, if you grew up in the 70s, you will remember the deep voice and the what was the slogan?
Drop a PH.
All over your face.
Drop a PH.
Yeah.
Oxy. No, it was Oxy. It was
Oxy. Yeah, it was Oxy.
It was Oxy something.
PH was something else. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. This was Oxy something. It was disgusting. You put it on your face burned. It was like it burns a hole in your face. The pimple's gone, but you have a hole in your face now. It did get rid of the pimples.
Yeah.
But I know people, they walk around, they got 65 holes in their face. They used to use that Oxy crap. And we used to push.
I really did like a lot of, and I'll just mention a couple and then let this go and let you talk about what you want to talk about. And what we didn't mention is it's Memorial Day weekend. We're doing this on a Sunday night, and boy, what a busy day this has been. And we're doing this at what is it? 7 o'clock at night.
7 o'clock at night. Yeah, in Los Angeles,
on the West Coast, and so it's been a busy day. But I'll tell you, it's great when we get together and talk about old radio stories. And happy Memorial Day! I want everybody to remember what this day is all about.
That's right.
And remember why we celebrate Memorial Day, and don't forget that. Okay. So I just wanted to bring that up. I don't want to get heavy about this because this is just a kind of a fun talk show. So anyway, some of the logos that I loved when I was growing up was I loved the 93 KHJ logo.
Yes.
As simplistic as it was, I loved it. And there were so many, but I loved the one that had what looked like the
half a rainbow.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And that, I don't know why that stood out to me.
We had that one when I was there. We had that one when I was kind of like my Banana Joe radio group logo. It has a little half a rainbow on it.
I hated the K100 logo. KIQQ. Here. I thought that was just a ridiculous logo.
Yeah. Kiss always had a similar logo. They always had the same kind of lettering, Kiss FM.
KKDJ had such a vast array of logos. There's one that I did like, but it was too busy. The Q, and they were everywhere. It didn't matter what market you were in; they were all the same Q. Whether it was KCBQ, whether it was...
didn't matter who owned them either. It didn't matter who the owners were. Didn't matter. No, they had the same Q.
They had the same Q. So I always liked that Q. I Q in my car, and I always liked that Q. So those are some of the logos that really stood out. My favorite that did not use that Q, and I thought was really interesting that they put so much effort into it because it was a very expensive logo to create, was KTNQ in Los Angeles, 10Q.
Right.
And that's a really, if you ever, take a look at that logo, it's a very intricate logo. And boy, did they put a lot of work and effort into that logo. And that's one of my all-time favorite logos.
WFIL logo. I don't know if you can see it there. Probably not. WFIL logo is interesting. It's kind of a boxy, they had the 3D kind of look. WFIL in Philadelphia. You see part of it on the wall there. Part of it on the wall behind John Lennon. See?
I can't make it out.
And in 1975, right around this time in May, John Lennon was on the air with me at WFIL. There he is with a young lady there. And it's not Yoko. No, it's John and I on the air. There we are. Yeah, those were the days. I had all my hair then. See?
Yeah.
Had all my hair. And anyway, he did a 56-hour marathon with us to raise money. Yeah, for the small charities in Philadelphia. 56 hours he stayed on the air. We were supposed to stay for 3 hours to help us kick it off. And he had such a good time. He said, I'm having such a good time with Banana. And if I can stay with him, I'll stay for the whole thing. So I was the anchor.
Did Yoko not show up?
No, Yoko was pregnant. She was pregnant. And she stayed in New York.
Lucked out. So you.
He was there alone.
That sounded mean. Yeah. But you actually did because you had his full attention.
Full attention. Complete.
Because I'm the stories you hear. No doubt, John would have said, "Banana, Yoko wants me to get home. He
did this commercial for the Zit stuff with the guy with the deep voice. He had to do a tag on it. He had to do a tag on it.
What?
And he was doing live tags on the air. We were teaching him how to do live copy and everything, right? So after the Zit commercial, he comes on, pick your face and eat it. He said, after you use this stuff, you can pick your face and eat it too. Yeah. Pick your nose and eat it. It was an edgy show for 1975. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
It was John Lennon. We got away with anything. What the hell was John Lennon, right? Yeah. Live, unfiltered, No 7-second delay, nothing. Right on the air.
Well, and that's what's odd, about 1975 and here in LA as the youth that were listening and dedicated to radio stations like KHJ and the Top 40 KRLA and KEFWB before it became All News and 1580 K-Day. And then all of a sudden this FM radio station and even some of the FMs that tried Top 40 KKDJ and K100. And then here comes KMET, and is kind of this, crazy, doing these antics that pretty much John Lennon was doing on your show at FIL. And it seemed to catch on with the youth. But not all the kids liked that, but because it was very strange. It was like it seemed to be split right down the middle. You had this one faction that really liked that craziness, and this other faction of the youth that liked the structure of KHJ. They really did, and liked the structure of Top 40.
The less talk and more rock. Right, exactly.
Yeah. So interesting. It's just an interesting. I'd love to get, a psychologist on our show just to discuss that.
It would be good. Yeah. Maybe we could learn something.
Yeah.
Late in our career.
Well, I really do think it's interesting. That how that kind of split up at that point about 1975.
Yeah, true.
Okay, what do you want to talk about?
Well, B.J. Thomas passed away today.
Yeah.
78 years old, but he had he was diagnosed in March of stage 4 lung cancer, and he passed away today. He was getting treatment. He had hope, they said, but he didn't make it. Great songs. He had some great, songs that are going to last 100 years. Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head, and Hooked on a Feeling, and, I Just Can't Stop Believing. And remember Deep in the Eyes of a New York Woman?
Well, they say he and Dionne Warwick kept, what was the name of the damn record company?
Scepter Records.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Dionne was part owner of that label.
Kept that label alive.
Yes. Bacharach and David they were writers that wrote all those hits. Burt Bacharach, Hal David. Yep.
Yeah, if not for them, boy, that place would have not survived.
Scepter Records was the label that my hometown band, The Boys, recorded their first hit, Timothy, on.
Oh, is that right?
Timothy was a song about a mining accident in the coal mining area of Pennsylvania, where I came from. And they were trapped in a mine, and these guys woke up, and everybody was there except Timothy, and their bellies were full, and they realized they'd done a terrible thing.
Wow.
All that was left was Joe and me and Tim. Timothy, where on earth did you go? Timothy, God, I know. They ate him up. Radio stations were banning that song. It sold a lot of copies because it made it in the top 20, and radio stations were banning the song because it was such a distasteful. To get it distasteful, because they didn't have any MSG then. A little more flavor would have done better. Anyway.
This is not right.
But here in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, we played it. We had the boys at our prom, and we were all joking around when they served the meal. We said, "What are we having here? Filet of Timothy?" Oh, Pittston Area High School. Yeah, baby.
Well, let's talk about some radio memories here. Come on, you've got some good ones. I've got a ton of them. If you don't have any, I can go. I can
the memories like the corners of my mind. You see watercolor. I wear my Stones t-shirt. This is the way we dressed on the air. We worked station T-shirts, band T, whatever we got for free, right? We couldn't
Favorite
afford any
PD.
clothes. We couldn't afford any clothes.
Favorite PD. Who was your favorite PD?
Oh, let me see.
And you've worked with some of the greats, as have I.
I worked with some of the best. John Rook, Jay Cook, Rook and Cook, Chuck Martin, Bill Tanner in Y100, Jay Cook at WFIL, Chuck Martin, KHJ, John Rook, consultant at several stations. I mean, these guys were the top of the pops back in the day, the 70s. And they all told me to do one would tell me to do this thing, and then I get the next one, and they said he was wrong. Do it this way. And the other one goes, no, that one was wrong. Do it that way. By the time I was through 3 or 4 of them, my head was spinning around. I said, how the hell with it? I'm just going to do it my way. And that's how we got fired so many times.
Yeah. It happens when you don't follow direction.
I started at one station in Philly, and I walked in the door, and this jockey's on the air before me. He said, I don't know how you guys do it. Guys like you that go from L.A. to Philly to Dallas like it's going around the corner. You guys are like gunslingers, he said to me. Hired guns that come into a market. Yeah, we're hired guns. Because he knows we get ratings. We get people to listen. Isn't that the name of the game, right? That's what we're supposed to do. And I said to him, so every time I see him online, I always go, you look like a gunslinger today. He looks at me. I don't think he remembers saying that. I don't even remember saying that, but I'll never forget it. Nobody ever called me. I never touched a gun in my life. Nobody ever called me a goddamn gunslinger.
One of my favorite stories when I walked into a radio station, I was already into my mid-40s. The news guy, nice guy, pulls me aside and he says, "It's really a nice toupee. Where can I get that?"
Oh, no.
Swear to God.
And you're one of the few jocks that has most of his hair.
I said,
wow.
It's real. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I couldn't believe it. That was the funniest thing that anyone
It's
has.
a really good toupee. It still looks good, too.
Yeah. Well, I'm 60 years old now, so you think about this. I was in my mid-40s, and
you had the same piece? Man, you got your money's worth on that one, let me tell you.
Yeah,
Take it from me.
And since my hair is literally so thick, I can't tell which direction.
Me too. In fact, mine is so thick I have to hide it.
Anyway,
the hair on my chest I'm talking about, not on my head.
Oh, mercy. We didn't need to see that, Joe. We have to bleep that.
Hey, everybody. I'm going to lose my PG rating here.
It was so thick, and for some reason, I guess it appeared to him like it was a toupee. And he just pulls me aside, in his news studio.
It's really.
And because he wanted, to get a piece. He wanted to get a piece like mine, and he was willing to pay. And so I thought that was hilarious.
Did you tell me you can have mine? You can get it off. You can have it.
I was willing. The next time I go get my hair cut, why don't I just give you what's left?
Yeah. You give him the fringe.
We'll make a deal. And here, pay me some cash under the table.
Speaking of cash under the table, some of those stations that we worked at, allegedly were like got paid for playing certain songs. We used to pick them out too. We used to say, "Man, this one they must have gotten a fortune for this piece of garbage." We'd have to play it every 2 hours. Oh man, the people would call us up requesting us not to play it. It was number one a request again, not to be played. People Please don't play that anymore.
One of the funniest things that Don
The
Cox...
boss has to pay for his Cadillac. Go ahead.
One of the funniest things that Don Cox used to do on KHJ.
Don Cox. Oh.
Because he was there for such a short time.
10 minutes, I heard. Yeah, I worked with him in Miami, but then he lasted 10 minutes in L.A., right?
Yeah, he lasts about 10 minutes. That's pretty much so at KHJ. And the one thing is he used to do the top, the top 10 most requested songs. But he would accidentally always tell you what was going to be the number one song.
The whole idea is to keep you listening. I mean, so you find out what's number one, right? And he would give it away.
He was like so kind of messed up, that he and rest his soul. He was such a nice guy and
great guy.
Extremely kind to me. But you know what? He would always mess that up for some reason.
He always shared his soda with me.
So he and it became the standing joke because he would actually tell you, he'd say, coming up, the floaters float on is going to be, could be the number one song.
Oh, damn it, I did it again. Damn it. Yeah. All right, darn, it's going to be the number one song. Clocks on the radio. 93 KHJ. 93 KHJ. Clocks on the radio. I remember Y100.
I remember when Dave Conley left 10Q, and 10Q was such a fun radio station, and KHJ was, I guess at that point, was not such a fun radio station.
Stuffy, kind of stuffy, yeah.
And
corporate.
Dave Conley went over to KHJ, and boy, that guy was so unhappy. I have never, and that's the second jock that was literally so unhappy at one of my favorite radio stations that I thought I would just love to have worked at. But, geez, they didn't let him do anything. It was so restrictive, and he hated the place.
Square peg in a round hole.
The other person would be Pat Evans, who they made use the name Terry Moreno.
Moreno,
and although
nice
he stuck it out and went on to the country format.
So, he did, yeah. Terry Foster
for a short time before moving over to K-Earth 101.
Right, and he spent a good deal of time there too.
K-Earth, he was the actual first live jock on K-Earth 101.
Sure. Yeah, they went to San Antonio, where it still is, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
sure. I was flown in there for an interview once in San Antonio. John Barger flew me in. He put me up at the airport. He said, "Well, I'm taking you to a Texas store here first, a men's store." Took me to a downtown San Antonio, Texas men's store. I'm in town an hour, right? He buys me a white Stetson hat. Put this on. I said, wow, I'm going to get this job offer, aren't I? Bought me a $150 Stetson hat. I put the hat on. We went out and had a steak dinner. So things are looking good. He had one of those Cadillacs with the steer horns in the front, had the big old horns in the front of the Cadillac. Driving home. And so he said, tomorrow we'll meet before you go on the airplane. We'll talk a deal. So the next morning we met. I told him what I wanted. And he said, I said, I'm going to need this much. He said, the job pays this much. And it wasn't even half what I said. And so I said, is the ticket back home still good, or do I have to pay? Do you want the hat back? Here, take the hat back. Give me back home. Thank you. Long story short, Pat Evans became the program director. He took the job. He was there already. He lived there already.
Yeah.
So what the hell, right? Let him have the job. I don't want to move to San Antonio anyway. Drive around with a Cadillac with cow horns on it and wear a white Stetson hat. I ended up going to Dallas.
I was surprised that that's where he ended up, and after
he's from there though, it's his hometown.
Found a home and ended up retiring there. So
good for him.
Good for him. Good guy.
I'll never retire. I can't retire. If I retire, I'll be living in a tent outside with my neighbors. I got neighbors right here. Jamie Gigi says no tent for me. There will be no tent
Gigi
for
your
this
dog. Yeah, Gigi the dog.
I got to make the money for her. She has to live in a surrounding that environment she's accustomed to. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. It's crazy here in LA. People don't really understand. You know, they think that this is such a great place. It's not. And if you're still, on the air, wherever you are, thank your lucky stars.
Thank you, lucky stars.
Ain't much going on here in LA as far as live broadcasters. There's and the voice tracking thing is starting to disappear. I was going to say vanish, but same thing. So
you got Ryan Seacrest on midday in New York. Now, you listen to New York's #1 hit music station, Z100. You expect to hear a New York disc jockey, don't you? But you hear Ryan on doing the midday. He sounds bored doing the morning show here live. You imagine how he sounds doing the midday show on recorded.
Well, it's just simply pieced together by a production team.
It's not even
he
a
doesn't even
continuous
sit
show.
down
No,
and
no.
do a show. It's not even a show. It's just a pieced together
voice tracks.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's not even a show.
Even Flashback Top 40 is better than that. I mean, we do shows at least. We do continuous.
Yeah. These are just pieced together bits, so you can't, I don't actually think that's, well, it's not what we used to refer to as a show.
No.
I mean, when you did a show. And these
I used to have opening theme song.
bits.
I had a closing song. We used to have all kinds of stuff on it.
Oh, yeah.
Regular bits, regular bits.
And boy, when I was a little kid, I had to listen to the Real Don Steele.
The Real Don Steele.
And, because every Fractious Friday, he was playing the devil with the blue dress. And I had to listen because, boy, that was a great wrap-up.
Dr. Linda Salvin is watching. Dr. Salvin, how are you? Dr. Linda Salvin, a very, very renowned in her profession. And an old friend of mine, too. Hi, Linda.
That was one of my favorite, there were several disc jockeys that had, great, signature sign-offs. But the Real Don Steele over Devil with the Blue Dress On, it was one of my all-time favorites.
She's a psychologist, Dr. Linda Salvin. We were asking if a psychologist would call in. I wonder if
Oh, it's too bad we can't put her on the air. I'd love to talk to her.
Yeah. How can we do this? Maybe if I sent her an invitation. What do you think? Let's see here. Invite guests.
I don't have the time, Joe. How long?
Oh,
have
that's
we
right.
been on?
Oh, yeah. You know what? We're almost done here. Next show. I'll maybe get around next time, because I want to find out if there's any pattern there. If there's any pattern. We were talking about. Oh, do you like radio stations that talk a lot or that just play a lot of music and that are highly restrictive? Remember?
No, I'm just saying that at the same point in time in the mid '70s,
right.
It kind of broke off into two factions with this very stoner hippie kind of, okay, we just want to hear jocks talk like this, and hey, here's this, and then there were the other ones that wanted to hear the disc jockey say KHJ with Banana Joe. And
you know what though, Linda's she's also a psychic, so maybe she could tell us if we're going to make some money in this business or if we're just spinning our wheels on this podcast. I don't know, but I'm going to wrap it up. How about that?
Okay, very good.
We don't want to overstay our welcome. Happy Memorial Day to you. This is the day we used to go to the cemetery when I was a kid. My father would take us to the cemetery and see all the graves, all decorated up. Decoration Day, they called it. So have a great Decoration Day, everybody. Have a great holiday. Have a great barbecue if you're having one. And you too, Sky.
You too, Joe. Happy Memorial Day. Coming to you live from Los Angeles. And take care, everybody.
This has been Jock Talk. Thank you for watching and listening. Bye-bye.